I'm Madeline Harvey. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Let's talk about mental blocks. Yeah, there are 3 major mental blocks that apply to every creative endeavor, or just the human endeavor, but they have a unique tendency to plague singers. So we're going to talk about that today, as well as the medicine for each of these blocks. So if you like today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up or click that subscribe button below. I would love to see you here more often. So our 3 mental blocks are, number 1, fear, number 2, self-doubt, and number 3, comparison. Right? Fear, self-doubt, comparison. They will end you if you let them. So the purpose is like, don't let them, but we got to be more clever than that. So let's talk about the first one, fear. This is crazy because when we talk about fear, we don't mean like shaking in my boots kind of fear, but sometimes that is what it is. But fear is a lot more subtle, So it kind of manifests more in like perfectionism, overachieving, unhealthy striving, procrastination, uncontrollable nerves, stage fright, right? So it's like a vast array. Pick your poison with fear. And at the very root of this, it comes down to the fear of being rejected. And I think even under that, it's like just the fear that you, me, fundamentally as a singer, is just not, nor will ever be good enough. So in my own personal case, and I encourage all of y'all to have that really gentle but discerning eye, like paying attention to your motivations on things. But in my own case, mine was an overachieving and perfectionism. So I was like, I'm not even just gonna sing this song, but every single note will be on pitch and every single sustain will have precisely 6 oscillations per second in its vibrato. Like, you know, way too much perfectionism. Why? Because my attitude was, you can't reject me if it's perfect. So I will overproduce everything. I won't just sing loud. I'll sing like super loud. I won't just run this riff. I'll do it like 10 times faster than what it should be. Do you know? Because that was my attitude of, you can't reject me if I'm like super good. But the flaws in that premise. And all that did was reinforce anxiety inside of me. It reinforced that I could not be myself because, again, that authentic me wasn't like that. And I couldn't even relax. So we don't want to fall for that. We don't want to fall for that at all. It's also really sneaky. Fear, coming down to rejection, and then ultimately being like, you're just not good enough. I hate to say the truth. I hate to call this truth out, but I will. Teachers, watch your mouth. If you're a teacher, watch your mouth, because there's so much that someone in authority, whether it's like a parent, a grandparent, like a choir director, a musical director, or like just a teacher, like a private voice teacher, that one thing, we say one thing and it could shatter someone. Now, you don't have to cater your language to walking on eggshells either. But what I'm more talking about, those teachers that will say things like, you got no business singing, or don't sing, but maybe dance or do acting or something else. Or, like, you don't have the voice type that would ever make it in commercial music. Like things like that. It's like, that's not necessary. Your objective is to help develop singers. So that's just an aside. If you are in a position of authority, because a lot of times singers will not necessarily have the maturity in their own sense of who they are to rebuke that. They will just go, well, you know more than me, so you must be right. And then that backs the singer into a corner where they just shut down. And I cannot tell you how many singers that I've worked with over the years that are bringing that energy. If someone said something to me one time that broke my heart so much that I've still not been able to get over that. But again, I'm not saying like we've got to like walk on eggshells. We can call things out. Like we can say, we need to work a little bit more on this. We need to develop this area of the voice. Like instead of going, yeah, that sucked. More like, there's some area of development in this. Let's break it down. Let's break this down. So it's not so much a deep wound for the singer. So that's just an aside for people in positions of authority, especially parents, grandparents, directors, and things like that. Yeah, because those wounds, it makes it really, really hard to heal from. But what is the medicine? The medicine is exposure therapy. Put yourself in environments that are going to trigger you, but that are lower risk. So for example, if you've got that stage fright or you've got that uncontrollable nerves or you're just afraid of that rejection, but you legitimately want to prepare for maybe an audition or like an audition or like a show, like a talent show or something, then put yourself in micro experiences that are close to that are going to trigger that anxiety. That way you can work with it. I'm very happy to provide the role of trigger, as I do for most of my students. Like I know that just my presence and the fact that I'm watching them sing is enough for them to go, oh goodness. But then they learn to work with that, not necessarily to push through it, like as a matter of resistance, but to lean in spite of feeling that fear. And you get more brave and you get more performance experience in that way. You know how to work with that anxiety so it doesn't run all over you. Okay, so that's the medicine. Put yourself in situations where you have to perform, but it's a lower risk. Okay, and when you walk away from that, ask yourself, what did I learn from this? Instead of, oh, I messed up, I'm so embarrassed. Nope, that won't provide any help. That's not useful to you. That's sensitive. And way to go, artist, for being sensitive. But it's not useful when you just punish yourself. So ask yourself, what did I learn from this? Okay? So number 2, really quickly, is self-doubt. Now, what I'm talking about here is that imposter syndrome. So self-doubt is kind of like fear, but it's manifesting itself interiorly. So that idea is that I'm having an interior experience where I'm feeling that my own competency is less than what I think other people think it is of me. Like I'm not smart enough, I'm not talented enough, I don't know enough, I don't have enough experience. We all experience this from time to time, especially if we are stepping outside of our realm of competency. That's learning. That's what learning is, right? You step outside of your competency and you raise your level of ability. So in that process, right, sure, okay, it's new. So we're all little imposters until we learn, right? That's why learning is so important. But you've got to lean into the value of the learning rather than what does someone else think of me? Do you see what I'm saying? Like lean into the value of the experience. Like I'm just here to learn, right? I'm just here to have the experience. Then it's like birthday every day. So that's the medicine. If you're feeling like you're a little bit of an imposter or feeling that anxiety of the imposter syndrome, get off of it and just go, well, what can I learn from this? And now you're not thinking too much in this direction. You're more engaging in the environment, engaging in the value of the experience itself. Okay. And then number 3, comparison. Ooh, talk about our poison that every artist experiences. So this is exactly what it is. It's when we use someone else's look, someone else's personality, someone else's voice, someone else's everything as a metric to gauge our own value. So a lot of singers do this. We can't help to do this. As a matter of fact, we can't help to do a lot of these things. They're all playing out at the subconscious level. So we've got to be really, we got to pay close attention. That way we know how to counter this with the medicine. So comparison, I think every artist at some point in their career, maybe multiple points, is going to fall for this one, because there's a celebrated artist that we might be striving to become like. And it's dangerous to do that simply because someone else's voice becomes the metric for what is good, what is praiseworthy, what is talented, what is gifted even. And we don't know how to gauge our own gifts, so we go, I got to be like that. And we don't know that, in fact, we might have been made very differently. So we end up tying our voices in knots. We end up feeling very dissatisfied in who we are because we just feel that we just can't reach that other person. Or if you're saying like, I can't sing this song because my voice doesn't sound exactly like the original singer, or I can't even go out for this role because my voice doesn't sound like the original singer. So you got to be really discerning with that comparison game. So the medicine for this, well, I would say that more the root of what this actually is that you are unaware, completely unaware of your own unique, set apart point of view. Yeah. Your own unique temperament, your own unique spirit of your voice, kind of like the way that you are in the world, like authentically, not performatively, because nobody wants that. That's not real. That's another mask for fear, is I'm gonna like put on a character rather than bringing myself into this kind of situation. So it's like being unaware of that, being unaware of your gifts, unaware of what you bring to the table. If you don't know any of those things, of course you're going to compare, because you have no other thing you can do, right? Because you're blind to what you have. So of course you're going to reach for what someone else has, because it's like, that must be the right thing to do. They're being successful, right? But that may work for a very short amount of time, but that's not gonna bring you that interior satisfaction in your work, in your voice, in your in your creativity. So the medicine is to understand your own voice, and to understand that not just your voice, but who you are as a person is a culmination of like your upbringing, your temperament or your personality, your voice type. Like, I'm not necessarily meaning like soprano, mezzo soprano, like that kind of type, but I mean like timbre, color, energy, and actively ask yourself, is there anything about my voice that I outright reject? Because in that are probably your gifts. We don't want to be torn in two all the time. We don't want to be fighting ourselves. We want to be whole. So if there's anything that you actively reject about your voice, take a look, take a deeper look, pay attention to those things. If you let that kind of come in and be a part of who you are, your voice will sound better. It'll sound better than you thought it did, and maybe even better than the original artist that you're comparing yourself to. It's not about competition though. It's about this interior sense of I'm satisfied with what I have, and I'm not trying to overcompensate out in the world. Okay? So those are our three, guys. Fear, self-doubt, and comparison. Those are our three mental blocks that we have to transcend if we're going to have that longevity, if we're really going to know who we are as singers, as artists, and if we're going to do anything truly meaningful in our lives. We've got to be able to work around or get through these three types of blocks. I just did an entire live where I spoke for about an hour on this very topic. So if you like this video and you'd like to go deeper into this topic, I encourage you to click that join button below and become a member of this channel. As a member, you'll have exclusive access to all of our lives that we do every Monday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you can't join us live, that's okay. You'll also have access to our members only area with over 100 hours worth of vocal development content. So again, just click that join button below. It's only $4.99 a month, and your contribution helps to support our channel. That way we can continue to deliver awesome content that's just for you. So there you have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Seriously consider these things. Pay attention when you're feeling spiteful, when you're feeling competitive, when you're feeling frustrated, when you feel like you're lacking confidence or, like peace in yourself. There's something in maybe even a little bit of each one of these at play going on, but that's okay. At the end of the day, you want to be yourself, and you want to know that that is more than enough. That's so more than enough. All you have to be, in fact, is yourself, and everybody would be interested in that. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I so appreciate you. I love you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.